Hello, listeners. Hi, my name is Madhavi, and I'm so happy to have you on UppTalk. You have come to the right place if you want to learn about IT and do really cool things with your hands. We are not just another IT company when I say UppTalk. Think of us as your learning partner dedicated to helping you reach your full potential. We have top notch hands on courses to help you build your business, whether you are new to technology or want to move up in your current job. Let's look around this as our first step towards learning.
What I was doing was I was creating a simple file, right? 1, 2, 3. Last time we did it via right step. Let's do it this time and this is a real scenario. Right? There you get. Say, this is the stuff, right? Let me just save it on my downloads. What I was saying was, let's do a use case of now reading a file, right? For that, we have this get even documents as a component, and you use that and finish. After that, here, let me put a log before it. I've just done this. Just included a get even documents. That's it. I think after this we have to do another step. Copying the file, get even documents. What it does is when you run your integration right, you have a retrieval step first. The retrieval step will have FTP and all that. From there it will fetch the file. Whatever file you have fetched will come here directly. And say if it is. If the requirement is that there can be multiple files, right? In that case, we use a component called a. We put it here. And in the road, we use the doc iterator stuff. There is, every road has a strategy and delete it. Right. Doc iterator is something that we use. And it comes when you just drag and drop a route and just put your mouse on this. You get this third last stuff here, which is create document iterator. Document iterator. What it does is, as the name says, document iterator. It iterates through different documents, right? And then what's the use case whenever you see this? This means that your integration can process multiple files. Even though, say, you have one file, that's it. Then also, it is good to have this component there. I think this is the advantage of one of the advantage of and then this one. If you come to this here, let me open another one which will help us in this one. Variable name. What happens is get even documents. We'll fetch the file. It will come to this component and in this row, right? The output of this is a variable. And if you click on this, what it says, the default variable name, value, retrieve variable. Mean if you don't give anything here, the variable name is retrieve variable. But if you give your own, then you can give your input file is my variable. That means what happens is after whatever, after get even documents, the first file which will come will get stored in this input, and then it will go ahead do the processing. Once the processing complete, it will come back again. You will see if there is another file, it will send the file to this route. It will do the processing at till the time all the files which are there are done, and we can do it. Let's see this document accessor and the file name as, and we will see this. What I was saying was when the file comes, it gets to this document iterator, and document iterator stores it in this variable, right? That means after this root, what is there in the message? Nothing. Still the start here part, because the message, the content is in this variable. What we have to do is, if you want to put it in A, if you want to store it, then what you can do is in the log, instead of the input to log as message, you can make it a variable and then use the same variable name as you have here. And after that, we have put integration message. This is, we read a file. Let's do this part. Let me open that. Let no, to the tenant. Let me deploy it first. If you see on the start here, one way people do is they do the retrieval service here. Delivery and retrieval here are not recommended. We don't do retrieval and delivery here. If you want, if we can configure FTP, we can directly retro from here. The here, you are just declaring the service. That's it. You are not configuring FTP here. It is just the name of the service that it will get enabled, right? This is our test demo. Why is it an error? Because this one has this part here. Delete this control. Now I'll hit what it has to say. Finish. It's deployed. And then what was our name? This, right? And then If you see, it has the attributes and map and all that stuff. Now we need to configure a business process because we have to, if we directly run it, there will be no document. It will start running it. What we have to do is we have to create copy a business process. Just click on it will have, and then step will be fire integration. What you need is both firing of integration. You need to have S and you'll make it. And this new step will be a serve and you will specify document retrieval and click on, and then you will configure this part here. It is saying configure it. What will happen is now when you will trigger the integration, the next step will be document retrieval, and after that file integration, document retrieval. If you click on, this is the place where you do your safety configuration and all that stuff. Since we are doing our stuff, we don't have safety. What I will do, I will say manually attach the file. I will give the group name integration admin, and that means when you will run this integration, uh, 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 will get an option. Date attaching the file. No other. Get the URL which I am using is an integration. When I will launch this integration, these are the log parameters, whatever. I, oh, it says add. Let me select download. I select which we just treated, and then I will set completed. Integration will start running. It completed, or it let the retrieve. Diff- what does that mean? That we have, there was no hard coding. Well, we have the right step, right? Instead of right step, we have get event document, which is now fetching the file from an actual server. This is an actual use case. Wherever you will see it, any integration in your tenant, which is inbound, will have this get event documents and will have a route component with data rater. In this case, we have contribute the business process that we have attached the file manually. Otherwise, if you do the, it will directly fetch the file from here. It will directly fetch it from there. What we do, a normal set things that we do. Validate expression. Something that we do, which is What is df? Let me come up, right? If you see this part, variable name, whenever you do this, get even documents, the document is part of document accessor. That is what you call something involved. The it's document, short form is DA, document accessor. When we were writing that code, right? Forget it, forget it. Getting the value from launch parameter, it was get it, forgetting it from the attribute, which was get attribute, right? Integration system, similar. For fetching it from the document which you have retrieved, do you not? Gives you how many files are there. This thing will give you how many files are there, right? As part of our basic check, we see whether is greater than, right? It has to be greater than. Then you will say it. Go ahead. That's one, that part, and oh, you can. The name, the file, which is that he could. Let's put this E and you put that means the first whatever you have there, which should it to be. Num message builder number. The- Let lo. I will leave all of them as blank. These two are important. What do I need to give all? and at, and I will select the one, and let me add another one. I can add multiple files here, right? Let me do this. Do I have any test file? Able. This was that. Download. Right. I will select. I have just made a copy of that, and that we have two files. It completed successfully. Let's retrieve the log files and see how it is. Before that, let's see what we put it in the log. We have the name of file, number of file. We have the size is number of file and the file name. We are getting only the first file name. Let's see that. We have got the message, number of file. You see two. And then this is the first file name. In filer, we are giving the number. The number represents the number of files we are trying to. If I want to fix second number, I have, and then there is second file with name B. If you do file name by ascending, then you will first process and then B. And if you do descending, you'll process B first and then. You have this option here. Labels is for what work this tools, integration, message, content. For example, in tenant, you may wish to label all payment files. I would be able to do that. This is just for tagging off that document. Whatever you are retrieving, if you want to tag them as say by giving any label that this is a payment file, this is in that file but not used. This is clear right now. Get even documents and then the doc iterator. Doc iterator output will be a variable. If you don't give anything, it will be word.variable. Word.retrieve.variable. Yes, that means after this, the data is in the variable. That's why you have to either use a copy step if you want to put that message in the message right. This is again the same concept that we have done. You do a copy, put the copy here, and then the input of the copy will be variable and the output will be message. What will be the variable? Variable is this name. That's the input to this copy. Copy is now doing whatever is in this variable. Put that all in the message. That means now in our log, we had the input as variable. Now, if you make it message again, it will show that the content of the file. We have done this eval. Then let's do this concept of error handling. That is important. One up, we have done error handling as part of this write global error handler. You just drag and drop that. Yes, yes. Other thing we do error handling is in the async mediation. Whatever async mediation you have in your assembly, those should by default have a send error component. If you see here creates an error, just put your mouse on this. You have send error, send error. If you click on that, it adds this component, right? Attach it to this. Yes, now what it does is that whenever there is an error in this async mediation, what happens normally? The message starts flowing backward, right? Yes, I told you. Yes, it starts going backward in order to handle that error. Right? It starts going backward till the end, and if nothing is there, it comes to global error handler. That's how it is. But if you want to capture it because you know what the error is, right, what we do is we specifically put that message. In this case, what we do is we use put integration message right here and finish, and then let me do a swim lane just to align it. I will now put this part into this, make it vertical and put this put integration message here. Now, if you see this put integration message which we have in the end, it is showing us that, yep, it is completed successfully. It's an information meaning when the flow will come till this put integration message user will get to know that integration completed right now. In this part, if there is a send error right now, send error will send the error message to one component. In that case, what we are doing is we are sending the message to a put integration message here now. Here, we know that whenever the flow will come from send error, that means it's not an info, it's always an error. Error or a warning, depending on your use case, right? And then summary is the message. Whatever message you want to say, like say error in async mediation, right? This is a custom message which you are displaying, but if you want to display Workday delivered message as well, right? What you do is you do a plus mark here, which is concatenation, and there is this context dot error message, right? Now what I'll do is let me save it and I will put an error. I am putting a wrong syntax in the sensei get attribute, get integration map. Look up. Now I'm saying this integration map. Look up and I'm just keeping it to map name. Map name I have to specify, right? You remember last time, whatever map name is there, you have to give it. Right now I'm just keeping it as is. That means this map name doesn't exist. It will give an error. Now let's see. What will happen is whenever. Now, when error is here in this async mediation, if the error happens here, message starts flowing backward, right? But here you have send error. It's just like that mouse trap you have right at homes. Yes, yes, if the mouse comes in, that's it. It is caught. Same thing here. This is a kind of a trap you have for the error. In any case, if error happens or come in any component, we have this. It will catch that error and it will not allow it to go backward. It will catch that, send the flow to this, put integration message and input integration message. You have error. You will write your custom message and you will also have your workday delivered, which is context. Let me do a save here and then let's deploy it and see it's deployed, and let me take duration launch. Next time we'll change it, attach document, attach test file. Oh, again it completed. It completed with errors this time, right? Yes, now if you see the message says error in async mediation. This was our custom message. And after that, you have this message index, one size one, some bullshit, which will be destroyed. Yes, now you got to know that that error is in the sensing mediation. Right now you can see. But if you want to know the exact detail, in that case, what you have to do is you have to download the consolidated. In that you search for error underscore raised. This is the consolidated report. This is the control F error underscore raised. Right, this is it. Now it says error eval step 8. This here is the syntax props name of file failed to evaluate, unable to resolve property. That means it is going one up. This one, yes, then you get to know and then you resolve it. That's how it works. Now comes the part where I want a basic error handling, which you will see in every integration, right? If you see here, this is the die.size you want your. After your this process, you will have many other components, right? You want to load data into Workday and all that. You will have some web service and all those stuff, yes, but you will do only that only then when you get a file. Right. If say there is no file, then what should happen? Right? You want to catch that error. That if there is no file on CFP, what should we do? Right. In that case, what we normally do is there is a component called validate expression. What validate expression does is invalidate expression. Again, you click on plus and you write some if conditions or a conditional statement, right? Like the most common one is this one, d.size. You know what is d.size, right? Dat.size gives you the number of files. It says that if the dot size is greater than 0, then go to the next component. But if not, then send error. Then go to send error. Whatever you will write in validate expression, it will validate that particular expression. If it is true, then only it will go to the next component or it will go to the next expression. Say you can have multiple expressions here, right? It will execute each one by one, right? First this one, then second, then third. If any one of them is getting an error, it will go to send error. But if all are true, then it will go to the next component. Here, what we do is we do the dot size greater than 0. Now here comes the failure message. Whatever you will write here, write it becomes. Write no file answer P. Right now, whatever you write here becomes the context.error message. Right meaning whatever you are writing here, the failure message. This means you're overriding Workday's context.error message. If you want, we can place here also, you can. You can leave it blank as well. No, if I want Workday error message also, then can we concatenate using place as we did in the previous step? Yes, you can. And here we have it, the error in async mediation context.error message. Right? We cannot do this part here because since we are attaching the file manually, we have to attach a file, else we cannot run it. We can do a reverse of it, that it has to be less than 1, meaning it will always fail. If you attach a file, the dot size will be 1 and this condition will fail, right? I'm just showing you that we can see the error, right? But before that, what I will do is I will remove these launch parameters. Save, and then let me deploy it. That's you. Completed with error and error in async mediation failed to find parameter data named from it. It gave another error. What error it gave is in eval we have no launch parameter, but we are using logGetDate, right? That error message got caught here. It's saying failed to find parameter data named from date. This is the from date. Now, if you will remove this one, it will give error on this to date. If you remove this one, it will give error on run for 5. We have to delete all of them. Like this. Tell me you are my own this. You are saying this true and false. Yes, if you do that, if we give the condition like the year dot size greater than 0, and if we try make it false, that's right. You can. That's what I want you to try different stuff. And let's It completed with error. Now it says it's right, error in async mediation. And the context.error message became what we gave in that no file on Ceph Pride. That's how you catch errors. Yes. One important property also that you always have to remember and do, it is in the properties of async mediation in the advanced tab. You have handled downstream errors. You have to always check that as true. By default it is false, but you have to make it true always. What does that mean is, if say there is an error after the async mediation, right? Suppose there is an error here, right? What will happen is the error will start moving backward, right? But here in this property, we have handle downstream error as true. Meaning it says, keep your trap on if there is any rat coming from outside. Also not only inside your house, but also from outside your house. If anything is crossing, catch that. That's what we always make sure that we do handle downstream error as true. What we have done today is we have done the how to read, fetch the file, multiple files, name of the files, number of the files, and then what is validate expression. What does it do? And then also the send error component on an async mediation, right? Whenever you have some components and inside async mediation which are doing some processing, always send error should be there, and it should be having a photo integration message or say something else that we will see later on. It can have another async here. Main thing is what it is telling is whenever you have got the error. Now your send error has got the error. What you need to do is up to you. Either you kill it or you give it another chance, right? Here we are killing it. That's the basic of this one. It's a delivered component which is built on top of local out. You don't have to have a local in for this. It's a separate thing. It's a separate component. Altogether put integration message. Yes, yep, this one, yes. And then let me see what other component is there. Copy validate expression. Validate is far is fine. On zip store you can. Can we write JavaScript in this? There is a component called JavaScript. You can. You have this custom stuff here. Put custom here. And here you have to write the Spring Beam, right? Create Spring. And you can write that coding here. No, I have seen a component like JavaScript. Let's just get up this one. Yes, that's what process a message using JavaScript. You can write JavaScript for the incoming. What you need to make sure is say when you drag it here, what will be the input to this? You know the message, right? Whatever is coming will be the input to this one. Once you know what is it, you can write a code to handle that. That's Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel. For more information, contact us sales@therightuptalk.com.